Anyway, a lot of us think a walk in the park, sitting in the back garden, fairly low-risk activity, wouldn't you? But we're hearing more stories recently about people getting Lyme's disease.
Yeah, it's a scary thing, this. This is exactly what happened to Lisa Cheetham's son, Corey. Now, Corey's from South Shields and was bitten by an infected tick, and this happened on a school trip. But for Lisa and 11-year-old Corey, there then followed several weeks of watching her son get more ill and obviously not knowing why he had developed a rash and what could actually cure him.
He's been quite tired, his legs are hurting, his chest hurting, and he's starting to get headaches now. At school he's had to have a lift pass because his legs gave way on him while he was at school. And he is quite an energetic child, and I do notice the difference in his energy levels. We were giving him antihistamines and putting cream on it, but it didn't go, and that's when I put permanent marker on his legs, and I watched to see if it grew, and it got bigger and come around the front of his leg. So that's when we went to go back to the doctors, and it was a nurse that we seen, and she says, "Oh, it's a long shot, but we're going to test for Lyme disease." And I'm glad she took that long shot, and I wish there was more nurses and doctors out there that would take that chance of testing for it, because it's important to get caught in the early stages. I'd never had a Lyme disease, so if I'd known about it, I would have prepared for it, insect repellent. I wouldn't have stopped him going away because it's good to be outdoors and everything like that, but I would have been prevention is better than trying to get a cure. But now it's just the waiting, because you just don't know whether it's gone, whether it's caught in time. Hopefully he's one of the lucky ones.
So that was Lisa talking about her son developing this rash and the effects it had on him, and Corey's been telling us how that insect he'd never heard of has impacted on his life greatly.
Didn't even know what a tick was. I used to love doing exercise, but obviously because it's stiffening my joints, I can't really do that. If I didn't exercise like I did when I was doing dancing, I would be out in 5 minutes, because chest pains hurt sometimes and headaches. It's really hard because, for example, at school I had to go to the nurse for the past 4 days for cowbell because of my headaches.
Oh, so that's Corey telling us about how it's affected his life. Well, on BBC Newcastle Radio for the North East, we can now chat to Julia Knight. Julia is the press manager for Lyme Disease UK. Thanks so much for being with us this morning, Julia. First of all, just explain what exactly is Lyme's disease.
So Lyme disease hasn't got an S on the end.
Right, get that right first, Foster.
Lyme disease is a bacterial infection, and it's passed on by being bitten by an infected tick that carries a bacteria that causes Lyme disease.
Right, and how does it affect people? Because tiredness seems to be something, which seems to come up a lot, and achiness.
It can affect people in a lot of ways. Initially, as you've just heard, Corey displayed a rash. It's a very distinguished rash. It can. The most interesting characteristic of it is it slowly grows outwards. And in Corey's case, that should have been treated straight away. That rash that he talks about, his mum talks about, is diagnostic for Lyme in itself without blood tests. So treatment should have been commenced right away.
And if you get treated earlier, because I think there's a panic, isn't there, with Lyme disease that, it's one of those things that you can't cure. But if you get treated early enough, it is curable.
The problem is the lack of awareness about Lyme disease. Yeah. Not just amongst the general public, but by frontline health professionals as well. So in Corey's case, weeks and weeks were going by with no diagnosis. So with Lyme disease, it's really important that it's diagnosed quickly and treated quickly and adequately. It can make you feel very unwell, and if not treated quickly and adequately, it can go on to become a life-changing illness. Not in all cases, but the more weeks that go by, the bacteria will spread around the body, and it can cause problems with It can get into the nervous system. It can affect the heart. It can affect the joints. And I think Corey has been telling you about the pain in his joints. Very, very debilitating illness if not treated quickly.
And you had it yourself, didn't you?
I have, yeah. I was bitten in 1999. I had no idea, just like Lisa said, about Lyme disease. And, to make that even more ironic, I was a very senior nurse.
Gosh. And I did actually hear not long ago a sort of senior professional, an expert in this field, talking about it. And he said that actually the doses that you have to give people are pretty high. And sometimes health professionals don't give people enough of the medicine required for long enough. But actually it is treatable if you do that.
That's particularly correct. And especially with children, the bacteria is quite a severe bacteria. And so the doses recommended are higher than many other bacterial illnesses.
Yeah.
We particularly see this problem with children who are diagnosed, and children, the child's dose is quite high for a child, the antibiotics, and people come to us for advice with their, looking for what the next few months might be like, and we find that they've been put on half the dose.
Yeah, and it's not enough.
There's no excuse for that, because even if a doctor is not sure, there are two good reference points for them. One is a NICE guideline for treating Lyme disease that was published in 2018, which gives all the doses. And also there's the Royal College of GPs, hang on, I've forgotten what it's called. It's like a toolbox.
Yeah.
So that the GP can refer to either of those, and the correct doses are there.
Wonderful.
It's no good treating a bacterial infection with half the dose.
Thank you so much for coming on and just enlightening us there, Julia Knight, who's the press manager for Lyme Disease UK. So I guess if you see a weird-looking rash, probably best to go and get it checked out. And you will be hearing from Corey's mum, Lisa, after 8 o'clock today on BBC Newcastle Radio for the North East.